The sunrise over the savannah was a canvas both magnificent and unforgiving. The blazing golden light stretched into infinity, yet it also exposed the profound isolation of one tiny creature. Jabu, a 3-month-old elephant calf, seemed a faint, insignificant amidst the tall grasses. He had barely emerged from his mother's protective embrace, a new life measured by a mere 90 precarious days, and now faced a life-or-death challenge that his young, nascent survival instincts could not have predicted. The fleeting sense of peace was abruptly torn by the appearance of 6 lurking shadows. The pack of spotted hyenas, patient hunters almost invisible in the grass, materialized suddenly. Their eyes, cold and calculating, were locked onto Jabu. They did not rush the attack, but began a terrifying psychological game. A dominant hyena, scarred and with a torn ear, feigned a charge, its teeth gnashing, a chilling declaration of intent. Jabu retreated in terror, his fragile legs trembling. When another quickly nipped at his tiny tail, Jabu let out a high-pitched, piercing shriek of absolute terror, a sound of helplessness and despair in the wilderness. A dusty distance away, Ranger Emeka leaned against his trusty, battered land cruiser. He was the guardian of the savannah's quietude, and when that thin, desperate cry reached his ears, it felt like a knife twisting in his heart. It was a sound he recognized immediately, the distress call of a life about to be lost forever. Instinct and experience spurred Emeka into action. He didn't just get in and drive. He flung the jeep through thick thorn bushes at reckless speed, a desperate race against the hyena's brutal hunting instincts. The final image of the opening was the vehicle speeding madly, its velocity fueled by a single, silent prayer. "Please, let me be in time." Emeka's jeep skidded to a halt, kicking up a thick cloud of dust right at the edge of the clearing. He leapt out, the sight before him making his blood run cold. The hyena pack had tightened the circle, preparing to deliver the final blow to the calf. Emeka had no time for hesitation or sentiment. He raised his rifle and fired a single warning shot into the air. The loud crack echoed, but the hyenas, especially the scarred pack leader, merely snarled, challenging the man and the metal in his hand. They were too confident, too hungry to give up for a mere warning shot. Emeka knew, in this life and death struggle, he had to create an immediate, completely unnatural event to shatter their resolve. He lowered the rifle and quickly snatched the flare gun. He didn't aim at the animals, but directly at the ground between the feet of the pack leader and pulled the trigger. The flare exploded in a blinding red flash and a terrifying, deafening crack. This sudden light and sound broke the hunters' patience. They didn't just run, they scattered in a chaotic, terrified frenzy, their primal fear triggered, vanishing quickly into the towering dry grass. Emeka knew they would be lurking nearby, but at least the immediate threat was gone. Emeka's focus immediately shifted to Jabu. The calf was no longer screaming, but convulsing in shock. Emeka set his weapon down and slowly knelt, trying to minimize his imposing size. His voice was deep and warm, soft as the wind, forming a steady, low sound against the fearful silence of the savannah. Jabu slowly and tentatively raised his tiny trunk. The trunk, the symbol of life and communication for an elephant, gently touched Emeka's calloused hand, a moment of absolute connection between two species. This was not just salvation, but a transfer of faith. Jabu's terror had been converted into intense trust in this man. Emeka checked the small, weeping wound on Jabu's tail, a painful reminder of how close they had come to tragedy. Emeka contacted the base, reporting the lone calf. He wasn't just reporting a lost animal. Experience told him something deeper. A mother elephant never abandons her young. If Asha wasn't here, something terrible must have happened. Perhaps she was injured or trapped. With a new sadness and resolve, Emeka knew his mission was not over, but had just begun. Together, man and elephant started the search. Jabu, no longer running, clung to Emeka like a shadow, seeking safety in his towering presence. Emeka led the way, tracking faint signs, broken branches, deep elephant prints in the soil. The story now was a haunting quest, searching for a victim and hoping to save a family. Asha's trail led Emeka and Jabu deep into uncharted territory, across barren grasslands. The journey was not just a search, but a masterclass in trust. Jabu was utterly dependent on Emeka's every step, every reassuring gesture. They walked for hours, yet this companionship proved Emeka's philosophy. Respect can overcome aggression. They reached a dry riverbed. Suddenly, Emeka stopped. Ahead, a magnificent herd of black rhinos stood, cows and calves milling around a small, remaining waterhole. These were not hyenas. They were the angry tanks of the savannah. Emeka knew well, a disturbed rhino would not hesitate to crush everything in its path. In particular, a massive bull rhino, its skin thick and scarred, raised its huge head. Its horn was described as a white, bony scythe, a weapon that could pierce both of them. Jabu let out a small shriek and immediately hid behind Emeka's legs, trembling all over, his breath coming in gasps. He had faced predators. Now he faced the immovable force of nature. Emeka knew the rules of survival. No running, no shouting, and no sudden movements. He whispered reassurances into Jabu's ear. Easy, little one.
The day is almost
we won't
done.
run. He decided not to challenge the rhino. Instead, he initiated a subtle strategy, negotiating a safe passage through absolute stillness and respect. He placed a steady hand on Jabu's back, transmitting calm from his body to the calf. Emeka began to move slowly, gradually walking laterally along the edge of the dry riverbed, each step slower than the minute hand. The rhino watched them with irritated suspicion. When Jabu, overcome by panic, tried to bolt, Emeka gently held his ear. This was not restraint, but an anchor, a silent command. Trust my stillness. Trust this plan. The tension lingered. The bull rhino grunted, hooves scraping dust from the ground, testing Emeka's patience. Emeka and Jabu moved, slowly but surely, until they passed the danger zone and were clear. In that moment, there was no triumphant cheer, only deep relief in Jabu's eyes and a subtle easing in Emeka's posture. They had succeeded because they refused the path of violent confrontation. After overcoming the rhino challenge, Emeka and Jabu's spirits were high. They continued following the large tracks, hoping they were finally close to family. But the joy was short-lived. They found a large herd of elephants, but immediately, the herd rejected Jabu. The enormous female elephants stamped their feet, flapped their ears, and let out hostile rumbling sounds, driving the calf away. Disappointment and confusion were etched on Jabu's face. A second loss piled onto the first pain. Emeka quickly had to lead the despairing calf away, retreating in shame and worry. Dusk was falling. The sunset painted the sky in brilliant red-orange hues, but for Emeka, it was a danger signal, the hyenas' hunting hour. He felt time ticking by cruelly. Just then, the hyenas reappeared, standing on a distant mound, just waiting. With iron resolve, Emeka did not let the disappointment sway him. He searched for another trace, a fainter sign, which he recognized as the solitary, heavy path of a single elephant. He understood. This was Asha's true track, the sign of an elephant struggling with injury. New hope flared, pushing them to move faster through the sunset-drenched landscape. That solitary footprint led them to a small clearing beneath a large acacia tree. And there, they found Asha. She lay there, colossal and motionless. Jabu rushed toward her, no longer afraid, but letting out a high, painful cry for his mother. He used all his body weight to push against her hip, his small trunk touching her all over, begging her to wake up. Emeka rushed closer. He touched Asha's warm skin. She was alive, but her breathing was shallow and labored, her eyes dull with pain. He immediately recognized the problem. On her front leg was a horrific, swollen abscess, the size of a rugby ball, hot to the touch and beginning to weep fluid. It was the slow, ancient killer, infection. The intense pain had imprisoned her here, preventing her from following the herd and from seeking her calf. It was the painful truth. Asha had not abandoned Jabu. It was the pain that prevented her from being the mother she wanted to be. Emeka grabbed the radio, his voice strained but authoritative, without any ambiguity. Base, this is Emeka. I have found the cow. Severe leg abscess, critical condition. Send Dr. Kwesi and Abina immediately for emergency surgery. He looked into the mother elephant's closed eyes and Jabu's terrified face, knowing that the real fight had just begun. Asha's life was being measured in minutes. The veterinary team, led by the calm Dr. Kwesi and the skilled Dr. Abina, arrived on the scene quickly. They immediately set to work, their professionalism a stark contrast to the emotional chaos of the setting. They administered a light tranquilizer to Asha, just enough to alleviate the pain without causing her to lose complete consciousness. However, when Kwesi made an incision to drain the abscess, a thick, gray-yellow stream of pus flowing out, Jabu completely lost control. He misinterpreted this as an attack. Jabu screamed, lunged to impede the doctors, using his small trunk to push them away, like a tiny, frenzied warrior protecting his fallen queen. Emeka immediately intervened. He gently lifted Jabu, hugging the calf tightly to his chest. He whispered into Jabu's ear, simple words, but containing absolute trust. They are not hurting your mother, little one. They are giving her back her life. Jabu struggled for a moment, and then slowly calmed down, his body trembling, but no longer resisting. In Emeka's arms, trust had triumphed over fear. This moment was the most eloquent testament to the bond between man and animal. The surgery lasted an hour. The doctors cleaned the wound, placed a drain, and injected high doses of antibiotics to combat the persistent infection. Finally, Kwesi stood up, smiling with relief. She will survive, he said softly. Emeka. You saved her, Emeka. Surgery went well. Just a few more days, and she would not have made it. Asha slowly woke up. Her eyes, now bright and intelligent, looked directly at Emeka and then at Jabu. A deep, warm rumble echoed from her chest, the sound of profound recognition and boundless gratitude. Jabu rushed to his mother, sobbing with relief. Asha gently wrapped her large trunk around the calf, a warm embrace of maternal love. Over the next 2 weeks, Emeka visited them every day. Jabu never forgot the rescue. When he heard Emeka's jeep, the calf would run out to meet him, wrapping his small trunk around Emeka's hand. Asha gradually recovered, the wound healing quickly, the limp fading. The conclusion unfolded in the glorious twilight. Asha's entire herd appeared from the distance, a family reunited. Asha raised her head, letting out a proud and triumphant trumpet call in response to the herd's greeting. She began walking toward them, Jabu by her side. Before leaving, Jabu turned back. The calf wrapped his trunk tightly around Emeka's hand one last time, like the most sincere thank you that language could not express. Then, he ran after his mother, blending into the herd. Emeka stood there, watching Asha and Jabu walk, side by side, heading toward the safety of the group, and gradually disappearing into the golden mist of the savannah. It was an image he knew he would carry in his heart forever. This is not just a story of survival. This is a story of intentional compassion, proving that the greatest strength lies not in domination, but in the willingness to serve. Ranger Emeka, Dr. Kwesi, and Abina are the final line of defense for these magnificent elephant families. They stand on the border between the wild and the vulnerable every day. Their efforts are fueled by your own belief. If this bond has touched your heart, join us. Your support ensures that when the desperate cry of a lone calf rings out, there will always be a hero driving at full speed to answer.